Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that Darryl has vacated, and joining me now for the first exclusive interview is the new manager of Witney Town Football Club. We gave you a little bit of a teaser at the start of the show, and we've spoken to Paul Foster previously. Well, the new manager was announced last week, and I'm pleased to say that we've invited Ben Reardon into the studio for a little chat, and we've got a little bit of an exclusive as well during this interview, which we'll hopefully keep you on tenterhooks for. First of all, Ben, welcome. Thank you for coming in to our studio. I know that it's a bit of a whirlwind for you, isn't it? But just first of all, your thoughts about being appointed as the first manager in the new era of Witney Town Football Club.
Well, firstly, I'd just like to say thank you for having me on tonight. It's a real privilege to be here. It's really exciting times, to be honest with you. I think the town's wanted a football club back, Witney Town, for a long time. To be appointed manager of the new team will be, it would be an amazing journey for me to start with. It's one that I've worked hard to get here, and it's a challenge that I'm really looking forward to.
Now, everybody knows you, I think, that knows football in Witney. You know, you used to play for Northley as a centre forward, so you've got a little bit of pedigree at this level and sort of other levels around sort of Southern League and Hellenic League. But as a Witney man born and bred, it must feel a great sense of pride that you've been asked to do this job and the first person to do it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I loved my playing time at Northley. I'll always have a little soft spot for that club, but the history of Witney Town Football Club's huge, isn't it? And it's a real honour to be a part of that and to put my own stamp on the club and, write my own history is something that, I'm really looking forward to.
So Witney Town, 1885 to 2001, a really long and proud history, got into the Southern League, got into the FA Cup first round, really sadly folded in 2001. A group of supporters then brought Witney United back for about 10 seasons. It didn't work out. Marriott Stadium unfortunately fell by the wayside. So this is really a clean slate, isn't it? And it's been formed slightly differently to the first Reformation in terms of Paul Foster, who's been the brains behind this. He's taking little baby steps, isn't he? He's not gone sort of flat out, and it's sort of slowly but surely to build this. And I guess that's pretty important. Yeah,
of course. It's a job that has got a big task ahead. It's one that Paul and everyone else that's on the board, I feel after meeting them for the first time, are the right people involved. They've got an amazing vision. Project's huge. But ultimately, we need to walk before we can run. We've got to grow organically, and they're the right people to do that. They've got the driving force behind them, and I know that they can make every success of this club possible.
Yeah, so we spoke to Paul Foster back at the start of the season, and he was very focused on his vision about how this club's going to build, and it will build from fairly sort of a low starting point. They're not going to be flying straight into the Southern League, clearly. Yeah. So it will be starting hopefully at senior level, so hopefully the Oxfordshire Senior League or possibly Hellenic Division 2. That's the plan, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think ultimately you can't just go into the Hellenic League. I think Senior Prem is the stepping stone for that. I think we'd be naive to think that we can just walk into the Hellenic League. We wouldn't want to start in the Div 2 because it's a non-affiliated league. It's mainly for development clubs. But I think Senior Prem would be an ideal start for Witney Town, yeah.
And a little bit of history of Oxford City as well here, because Oxford City obviously fell by the wayside when they were evicted from their ground. Very similar to what happened at Witney, because they essentially were evicted from their ground because they couldn't keep up with the payments at the time. So I guess taking a bit of a leaf out of their book and seeing where they've now got to, they've gone all the way from the very lowest level that they could have played in right up to the National League. And I'm not suggesting for a minute that that's necessarily Witney's ultimate ambition, but it just shows what can be done, doesn't it, if you get a team and a community behind you.
Yeah, I think if you look, any local football club would look at Oxford City as a fantastic business model. To start in the Senior League with 3 teams to now playing in a conference with over 700 players. It's an incredible journey, but it's one that's achievable. And I think that it's early stages for Witney Town at the minute, yeah. But my main focus especially is just to build a squad worthy of starting the league next season. So I don't want to look too further past that. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think yeah, that is the end goal. We do want to get Witney back on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember when I was a kid growing up, I used to be quite proud in a strange sort of way, seeing Witney Town on the classified results on the coupon at the end of grandstand. That's how old I am. But a Ben Reardon football team. So we're looking now at how you're going to approach the start of the season. I know you've got open trials coming up, so you're going to invite anybody to come to those trials. But how do you think a Ben Reardon team will look and play, and how do you think that will develop over the course of time?
It's a very tough question because, like I just said, we're at very early stages. At the moment, I'm looking to build a squad ready for the start of the season. We have got an open trial day, which will be sometime early June, which will get announced very soon. I think as a coach, sometimes you look to how you played football, how you wanted to play football. I was an attacker. I like to play exciting football. Ultimately, I want to see my team play like that. I can confirm where we'll be playing.
Exclusive time.
The exclusive time, and that will be Witney ATP. That will be our home ground next season. So I think for my side, it would be criminal if we didn't play possession-based football. I think the modern game, especially on the 4G, we need to build up from the back. But if you look at the attacking phase of the game, I want to see in the final third, my attackers go and express themselves and really be exciting and enjoy it.
Brilliant. And the ATP, I had a look at it actually on Sunday when you sort of hinted where it was going to be, and I went and had a look, and it's actually a decent venue, obviously a 4G pitch, so you can certainly pass the ball around on that sort of surface, and I guess that would equate to what your sort of philosophy on football is, to play that attractive, passing, attacking football.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, it'd be criminal not to on that pitch. I want to see the right football being played, but ultimately from the players, I want to see them apply themselves right and have the right attitudes. Yeah. So, the squad I want to build has to have a backbone of experience, but I want to see some young players coming through as well, and I really want to help them to progress and get up the leagues really.
Now, the local football scene around Witney, the Witney and District FA particularly, is a really strong league. There's so many teams, so many clubs. But I guess I'm not suggesting that you're going to try and sort of poach players from any of those clubs. But I guess that anybody that wants to have that opportunity to represent their town, to play in whatever colours are chosen, whether it's amber and black or yellow and blue, I guess that's a bit of a focal point, isn't it? That the players that are successful at these trials are going to be representing the town.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to go about my business the right way. I'm currently with a football club. I wouldn't want to speak to any of those players because out of respect. But ultimately, there will be an open trial day and everyone's welcome to come along. More the merrier. It'd be great to see some players that I don't know of, some young players that want to better themselves and try out. But ultimately, it'd be nice to see some older faces as well that maybe I once played with. Because we're going to need a bit of experience in the side. So, everyone's welcome and I look forward to seeing them.
And just finally, the important thing, you're going to need a bit of experience in the playing side. You're going to need a lot of support off the pitch, aren't you? I know that the number of followers on the Witney Town social media group has really ballooned in the last couple of weeks. It's up to sort of close to 700. But for this to be a success, you're going to need the support of the town, aren't you? And you're going to need as many people to get behind this project as you possibly can, and maybe sort of build something for the community for the future. Absolutely, and we as Witney Town Football Club want to work with the community as well. We're going to need all the help that we can get. We have got the right people in the management side of things for me to push the club forward, but it would be lovely to get some old faces back watching some hopefully exciting football that they enjoy. Witney's huge, and when they last had a football club, the population was probably half of what it is now. So to get a lot of people to come and watch the local club would be excellent. It really would. And Ben, thank you so much for coming in. I can't wish you any more than the best of luck because I've got a bit of Witney passion. I was press officer back in the 90s. That's how old I am. And it'd be fantastic to see them get back to a level that we've seen before. Yes, it'll be slow but sure, but brilliant news. And brilliant news actually about the fact that the ground has now been unveiled, if you like. So initially Witney will be playing at the Witney all-weather pitch, right in the pretty much in the town centre, nice and local to lots of people, easy to get to. And there's a lot of scope at that place as well, because it's a ground that can be developed, and I'm sure that will be something that will happen in the long term. But it's really, really good to see Witney Town finally back on the map, and good to go next season. And I'm sure as many people that can squeeze into the ATP on the first home game, Ben, I'm sure they'll be there to witness that historic moment in August or September, whenever it is. Ben, thanks again for coming in. Really, really good. And I will definitely be interviewing you again during the course of the next couple of months. And we'll get Paul Foster back in as well at some point over the coming weeks, just to give an update of the behind-the-scenes stuff, because I know there's been an awful lot of work going on behind the scenes with Paul Foster, talking to lots of people that are important, and hopefully that will be really good, positive news to come forward as well.